Howdy, hi, hey, Marketing and Digital Media Manager at the NAA, Taven Wohlford here with another talk with the President. I am joined by President Morgan Hopson, CAI. Morgan, happy April. How are we doing?
Hey, happy April. How are you doing?
Doing just fine. Is life good? Is business good? Have we sold anything weird lately or just your standard run-of-the-mill treasures?
Life is good. Can't complain. Staying busy. Had a lot of travel lately, but it's good. And then, real estate's good because everything's getting green and people are wanting to sell and just heavy into benefit season right now. So I don't know. Nothing weird, I don't think. Nothing that really stands out to me. I sold some FIFA tickets the other day at a benefit auction, and we're excited for, North Texas is getting some FIFA action. So we're excited about that. How much?
What are we looking at?
Yeah, they were prime tickets, lower bowl for sure. They brought around 20 grand, pretty sure. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's about
Yeah.
the current prices for everything now.
So yeah, exactly. 20
right.
grand, just run of the mill.
So you brought up travel. I'm sure one of the things that you were traveling for was CAI. So let's just jump right into it. We're coming out of another year of it, the 50th year of it, and every time it wraps up, you hear the same thing. Energy was high, connections were strong, and people walk away better than they came in. From your point of view, Morgan, what stood out to you the most at this year's CAI?
I don't want to be repetitive, but like you said, we got to celebrate 50 years this year, and that's amazing. I think, when you have a designation that's been impacting an industry for 50 years, that's really something special. And so it was really cool that we got to celebrate it, even more because we had Next this year. I think this is the first time since pre-COVID that we've had Next. Usually it's every 3 years. But to just be able to have Next, it was awesome. I'd say the one theme maybe I take away from it is just momentum. I think we keep seeing that, right? We were really excited this year. We sold out class 1 for CAI, and then we sold out Next as well. We had 84 attendees, which I just think is awesome, and it just continues to tell me that people are hungry, right? They're wanting to grow, to learn, to continue to invest in one another. And I think at CAI especially, you see that. You get that community there that a lot of times we have to wait until conference and show to really get that sort of intimate connection, I guess. And you're getting that with CAI, and it's exciting. CAI was awesome. I have to give a shout out to class 2 because we had a 50-year celebration. I think that's a lot of pressure for a class that's putting on a benefit auction, right? Like even more than normal. Like every class always does a great job, but I think it's a lot of pressure when like Next is coming in and you have additional people and it's pressure because you're celebrating 50 years. So I just want to give them a shout out too. They did such a phenomenal job. It was so well executed. I know they put a lot of practice and diligence into building that event. And I think we raised, you may be able to correct me here, but I think around 150,000, if not more. And those funds obviously benefited nonprofits. Some of those funds came to the NAA and some to the foundation. So, that makes a huge impact on what we do and what we're able to do, and scholarships and all of the member forward initiatives that we have throughout the year. Those dollars really do make an impact for us. So, props to them on putting on a phenomenal event. I thought that was amazing. And, it's always just fun to be with everyone and that event. So I think beyond that though, you talked about it. We always come away from CAI saying, oh my gosh, the energy and the community was amazing. And you just think about the people there. I think we had, not including Next, you had around 150 attendees. Those are the future leaders of our industry. Some of them are leaders currently in our industry. But they're people who continue to invest in themselves, and they show up for events throughout the year and invest in Next and one another. And you continually see them pour into one another and help one another. I had the privilege of teaching class 1 this year and class 3, and then I got to spend some time with class 2 as well. And I just think no matter what room I stepped in, whether it be CAI classes or even in Next, you feel that energy and that community. So I'll always say that's such a huge win coming away from CAI. But I think we're just, feeling a lot of momentum, and that gives me so much confidence as I finish out my presidential year, right? That the level of engagement we're seeing, we sold out DMS as well, Digital Marketing Summit, if you're unfamiliar, if those of you listening, but we sold out DMS, we sold out class 1, we sold out Next. And I think hopefully that's just a theme we we continue to see throughout the year is that we're having so much energy and momentum, and people, our members, are really feeling that. So I think the future of our industry and our association is just in really good hands. So always exciting to come away from CAI and feel extra invigorated, right?
Yeah.
Like that extra push of energy to go home and put some of those things into practice. So it's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, you talk about momentum enough, and I feel like CAI has this reputation where everyone says it changes everything. And at some point you have to start to wonder if that's just our company line, that it just changes everything. But then I sit down with 2025 CAI graduates, Taylor Kent and John Schultz, for my most recent podcast episode, and all they can really say is, no, yeah, it actually does change everything. What were some of the real tangible takeaways you saw from attendees this year? I know you were teaching, so
Mm-hmm.
what were tangible takeaways you were trying to give your students this year?
Yeah, I think, from one of my classes, I got to spend a lot of time with class one this year. So I did a session the first day, and then I got to come back and do some more hands-on things with them on day two. And for me, a lot of what I was teaching, a lot of those students had already implemented. And I'm not saying that props to myself or any, I'm not trying to
Sure.
give myself kudos, but I think it is nice to see that what you're actually teaching is already being implemented and worked into their daily lives and worked into their businesses. And so many good questions out of that. But I think overall, just trying to frame CAI education where it is really elevated, but we have students in CAI one who are newer into the industry, but we also have some really seasoned vets in that class. I'm talking people that are in their state hall of fames, that are industry leaders, that have been in the industry for a really, really long time. And so I think that is the cool part about CAI too, that you have influence, right, from the younger generation, but you also have it from really tenured professionals, and that they're able to get that takeaway from one another and kind of, I keep saying pour into one another, but learn from one another in
Yeah.
different situations. And so one of the things I was really trying to teach in my class is, okay, what's the takeaway, right? How do we communicate with people in a world where there is so much noise, there is so much going on? How do we keep their attention? And my class was really focused on proposals, but more than that, is it transferable? Right? If someone, it has to work for us when we're not in the room, because a lot of times people go out and they're influenced by a friend or a family member or a professional that's in their lives, or maybe someone that they don't even know has
Yeah.
influence over them. And so how do what we're trying to say create a lasting impression or something that is really transferable after we leave the room? Because I think a lot of us can go into a room and get that business immediately, but if they don't make a decision then they go home and then they, I was telling the class, you leave somewhere, you leave a meeting, and then you have to return 5 emails and you have to make a
Yeah.
phone call. And for a lot of people, they've got to get their kids to soccer practice, or, they got to make dinner for their family. And then they go home and someone's like, hey, well, how'd that meeting go today? And you're like, what do I remember from that? So, it was just fun to see throughout, not even my class, just so many classes throughout all 3 years, that they're able to immediately implement those practices into their business. And again, I think learning from different stages of when you're in the industry, how do we take from those experiences and learn from them and build from them? And what does that look like all across the country, not just in my area or community of practice, across all assets and across all different parts of the country. So it's really an experience like no other. For me, it's always validating to hear people that have been in the industry for so long that are attending CAI and they're like, man, I should have done this 15 years ago. And you think those individuals already know so much, to know that they still get value out of
Yeah.
CAI as well is incredible.
Okay. Let's switch gears, but stay in the
Okay.
same lane of
Yeah.
building the future of the industry. We've got some really excited things happening with FFA and IJAC. For someone who
Mhm.
might not be super familiar, can you explain what that connection looks like and why it's such a big deal?
Sure. So, like you said, it really is a huge deal for the future of the NAA and the auction industry as a whole. At its core, this partnership really is just about exposure and about opportunity. I think we have an opportunity to introduce people to the auction industry earlier than ever before, which you see through a lot of our next gen initiatives, not just through FFA, and do that in a really meaningful way. I think with FFA now recognizing IJAC, or the International Junior Auctioneer Championship, as an endorsed event, it really validates all the work that we've been doing in our youth development. And it kind of helps us reinforce the value of connecting these students to real world opportunities, right? Professional networks. By having a lot of these state winners of their FFA contests come to conference and show, they're able to immediately connect with industry professionals from around the country. And I think that's so, so valuable. And so this partnership, this is the first step in a series of, I think, what our future will look like with the National FFA. But this first step is really FFA just saying like, hey, we recognize your work. We're going to endorse IJAC as something that is developmentally great for these students, and we're going to help you promote it. I mean, that's really the first step in this process. So they're just saying, hey, we endorse IJAC as something that can be really beneficial for these students, and we encourage you to go. What I think is cool about it is that you don't have to be a state winner, obviously, to attend IJAC. And so they're endorsing it from that way as well. Like, even if you're not participating in your state, you can still go to IJAC and learn and grow and go to next gen events. And so that's really incredible that they're endorsing us in that way. And then hopefully we can take the next step with FFA to be recognized in a just a little bit different way. I won't speak on that quite yet because we haven't worked out the details yet, but hopefully next year we'll see even a next level for them recognizing NAA and all the next gen initiatives that we're doing through these state contests.
Very cool. Very cool. And these students coming up, they've got confidence, they've got energy, and if we're being honest, probably better social media instincts than most of us.
Absolutely.
From your perspective, what's the long-term impact of getting young people involved in auctions this early?
You know, I think it just opens the door for so many students who have never even considered this as a career path. You know, I think of myself, and I was in FFA, but never knew auctioneering or the auction industry could be a career for me. And so I didn't realize that until I was out of college. And I just think, okay, what if I had known about that when I was 12 years old or 13 years old? Like, the exposure I would have had at such a young age. And again, I think the connection that these students are able to make with industry professionals. I mean, some of them are getting paying gigs already, right? They're contracting with nonprofits. They're working for tenured, experienced, well recognized auction companies. And they're not only getting experience behind the mic, but some of them are getting marketing experience. They're getting experience in social media. They're getting experience in photography. And so there are so many different venues, as you know, throughout the auction industry where you don't have to be behind a microphone. But those students that are really interested in being behind a microphone, they're getting that experience at a really young age. And so you just watch some of these state contests and you're blown away at how good they are. And I'm like, ooh, I don't, competing against them would probably make me better too, because they are so good and they're just a sponge for all the information. So I think it's not just about creating future auctioneers, but it's just about building awareness for our industry, right? And we have the privilege to do that through these next gen programs, because these students are one day, they're going to become your future leaders. They're going to become future business owners, community leaders, decision makers. And I think when they understand the auction method and what our industry encompasses, that really creates long-term impact for us as a whole, as an industry. So I think it is, yes, all these next gen programs are pipeline development work for us, but it's also legacy work. And I think that's just going to continue to impact our association, our industry 10, 20, 30 years down the road because of the exposure these kids are getting at a really young age.
We might have future leaders coming up, but let's talk current leaders.
Let's
Candidates have officially been announced for our board election in July. For vice president, we have T. Kyle Swicegood. And for directors, we have J.T. Rowell, Naomi Lewis, and Braden McCurdy. First off, what does it mean to you when members step up and say, I want to take that on?
I think it's just exciting. It's exciting for members to step up because they really get to help mold what our association is going to look like as we move forward. And we've had a lot of change happen, right, in the last few years. And I think we're only growing in a positive way. We're only growing in a way that's going to continue to move the needle, not only for our industry, but our association. And so I think when people do step up into those leadership roles, it just affirms that, hey, we want to make a difference, right? We want to continue to make a difference, and they want to make an impact. And really none of these candidates, you can't go wrong with any of them, right? They're all industry leaders. They're all amazing. They all have phenomenal qualities. And so to our membership, I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. And TCAL is going to be amazing. Vice president, we have three phenomenal candidates for director. Unfortunately, we can only take two of them at this time. But just for them to step up and take this leap into the next level of leadership, I think it's really impactful, and it is meaningful to see, members want to continue to influence and mold our association, which I think is awesome.
What would you say to members about why it actually matters for them to pay attention, learn about these candidates, and be engaged in the process, not just scroll past it and wait for it to pass when conference comes and goes?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, one of the things that I've been really passionate about, that this board is passionate about, is making sure that our members really do feel informed and that they feel engaged, especially when it comes to leadership and decisions that leadership are making. And this year, like other years, we're creating opportunities for members to really get to know those candidates. And so I don't believe we've announced the date yet, but we're going to be hosting a webinar, for lack of a better term, that I'll moderate, where all the candidates are on that call. And I'll just be asking them thoughtful questions about their leadership styles and the direction they'd like to see the association go in, and just get a feel, get to know them better. And I think for our membership to be able to get on that call and actually get a feel for who they are as a person, and what direction they'd like to see, the association continue to grow in, and how they want to move the needle, I think is really, really valuable. And I think we also have a meet the candidate session slated for conference and show. And so I think it's important for our membership to go to that as well. Be in the general session when they give their speeches. Sometimes that's real telling. You think you have an idea, and then you get in there and you hear a speech and you're like, oh, that was interesting, right? Like sometimes you're surprised. Not saying that any of these candidates are going to surprise us, but it's always good to have the full picture, right? Have all of the information and not just have preconceived notions about candidates. So I think these conversations really give a different perspective into who these candidates are and their leadership styles. And so I just really encourage members to be involved. Something that we normally see is we have votes in the 400s. Right? We always say, as a candidate, if you're wanting to win an election, you need to be in the 400s on a vote count. And I think that is a little bit sad, because we have close to 2,700, 2,800 members. And so for that little of our membership to really be involved in the voting process, I'd love to see that number double, triple. I'd love for everyone in the association to vote. I'm not sure that that's realistic, but these members, as a member, you have a voice. And so just please exercise that voice, right? And be informed and vote. Like I said, you can't go wrong with these candidates, but to be engaged and to have a say in who's going to be in leadership is a right you have as a member. And so would love to see more members take advantage of that.
And we've got something coming up that I think will be a great thing for member engagement, especially for our upcoming election. So happening on the third Monday of each month, starting this month, we are going to have something called Membership Mondays. It's a live interactive Zoom where we walk you through your membership, where to find things, how to actually use your benefits, and what opportunities are sitting just right in front of you. It's not just a walkthrough, it's a chance to ask questions in real time, connect with other new members, and honestly just get comfortable. From your perspective, Morgan, why is something like this so important for helping members not just join, but actually get value right away?
Yeah, I think it's important, and I'm really excited that we're doing this, something that, to my knowledge, we haven't done before. And so I think it's really important for our members, because a lot of times we hear like, okay, I'm going to pay my dues, or should I pay my dues? What value am I getting? Well, first of all, regardless of these Zoom calls, I would say the value that you're getting is community, right? The more you engage, the more you're going to get out of a membership. But I think that these Zoom calls are going to also be really helpful, because they are going to be interactive. And I think we hear a lot of times, okay, well, maybe I know that there's value there, but I don't know how to access it, or I don't know what I'm getting. $110, you guys. That's what our membership costs. You're getting so much more value than that, in my opinion. We did a survey not long ago, and it talked about how much money people made through referrals just because they're a member in our industry and our association. And I think, we're able to show members on these calls where they can find resources, how to access their benefits as members, what opportunities are available right now, what opportunities are to come. And so for people to just have that first touch, right? If you're a new member and you're getting on these calls, it's like a way for them to plug in immediately. We're able to tell them about upcoming webinars, upcoming summits, things that we have available for them as members, and then things like the Education Institute that live online that they have access to all the time. And so I think it's just about making sure that our members feel equipped, that they're informed, that they feel connected. Again, no matter if they're brand new or you said it, maybe they've been members for years and
Sure.
just don't know how to log into their portal to access these member benefits. And so I really think we're going to get a lot of engagement from it. And I'm really excited to start it and see some of the feedback that we get from Membership Mondays. It's a cool idea.
Speaking of feedback, if someone's watching this and they're newer, maybe a little unsure where to start, or don't want to ask the obvious question at one of these Membership Monday things, what would you say to them about just showing up, asking questions, and getting involved?
Absolutely. I'd say don't be afraid to ask a question. There's no dumb question when you're trying to get involved and understand how association works, or how you can be involved in association. I was telling the CAI classes last week, hey, there's room for you at the table. If you want to volunteer, like, please go on our website and fill out that volunteer form. But don't be afraid on these Zoom calls to ask a question about how to utilize your member services. Like, that's what we're here for as leadership. You guys do such a good job of that as staff, helping our members get plugged in and engaged and answering those questions for them. So I'd say there's no dumb answer. Like, don't get on there and feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be the idiot in the room, like asking this question about how to even log into my portal. No, that's what these calls are for. That's what we're here for, is to answer those questions. And that, if you don't want to answer it ask it even on Membership Mondays, to reach out to one of us, and we'd all be happy to help you for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so quick plug. Our first Membership Monday is April 20th at noon Central Time. Come ready with questions, come ready to learn, and we will make sure that you leave feeling a whole lot more confident in what your membership can do for you. Morgan, I'll take us home with one last thing. We end this month with our yearly celebration of National Auctioneers Week. That is April 27th through May 2nd, with Saturday, May 2nd being National Auctioneers Day. To help our members celebrate the auction profession with us, we have put together a National Auctioneers Week content hub. If you head over to auctioneers.org/NAW, you will see ready to post captions for you, daily content and video prompts so you can follow along with what we're doing that week, plus a few downloadable graphics you can use. Morgan, we're trying to make it pretty hard for members not to participate this year. So from your perspective, why should they take advantage and just jump in?
I think for one, it's already done for you, right?
Thank you.
Taven, you and your group have done such a good job. Like, you've put all the resources there for us to use. And so I just say take advantage of that, right? It's already done for you. You've just got to plug and play into your social media of choice. And so really just an opportunity for us to have national exposure. And we all get to saturate the market together, right? We get to saturate it all at the same time. And so I think the more people that take advantage of that, more engagement that we're going to get, the more we're going to see the public interact and be a little bit more educated about what the auction industry is, what it isn't, and how we can, influence sellers and buyers around the country. And so you guys have done all the work for us. We just got to plug and play. So I'm going to tell our members, please take advantage of that. They've done such a good job. You're going to see some really phenomenal videos coming out every single day, high quality professional videos that our staff and some of our vendors have taken the time to curate for us. And so I think, just really share those, tag us and things, tag the NAA, tag National Auctioneers Week. I'm sure Taven has that all written out for you as well on the hub. But the more you share, the more exposure, right?
Social medias.
Yes, link to all the things. But the more you share, the more exposure we're going to get. And to be able to saturate all at one time during that National Auctioneers Week, again, April 27th through May 2nd. May 2nd is actually National Auctioneers Day. So we'll really hit them hard on that day. But if we can hit it hard throughout the week and share that content that you've already created and share some of our own as well, and then tagging NAA National Auctioneers Week in that, the impact could be really, really significant.
Yeah. So just quick breakdown. I have three downloadable graphics on there. One is a profile picture frame. You just
Love it.
pop your profile picture in there, and you got a NAW frame. The other one is a National Auctioneers Day post, and that is pre sized for you, perfect for Instagram. And I just want to see like Instagram flooded with this thing on Saturday, May 2nd. And then finally, the National Auctioneers Week logo, just so if you want to produce your own content and want it to run on that week, here's the logo. Make it happen. We're
That's
making it
perfect.
happen. That's all we got for this month, Morgan. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
I just also say, and if you're a planner, this content is already up there and it has like what we're doing every day for National
Yeah.
Auctioneers Week. So if you're a planner, go ahead and plan it out, schedule it, right? And do it ahead of time. It's all there for you. So I just encourage, our members to continue to get engaged. If you're not a member, we'd love to have you. Like I said, there's a seat at the table for everyone, and we welcome you to be a part of the association because it takes all of our voices to make us stronger. Thanks, Taven. You and the staff do an amazing job at hand holding us and walking us through things and just making sure that we're successful. So appreciate all that you do as well.
Thank you, Morgan. I've never thought you've had sweaty palms. I love hand holding with you. Always appreciate it. And to everyone watching, get involved, stay engaged, and we will see you next time. Thank you, Morgan.
Yeah, see you next time. Thanks, Taven.
Bye bye.